What if I tell you that you can finish any coloring page of your choosing with great results, and it doesn't matter if you're still a beginner or a more experienced colorist, and you don't need to know anything about color theory? You don't need to do any research in terms of color palette, and you don't even need to blend. All you need to do is spend between 15 to 20 minutes, pick four different colors and one white highlighter, and you're good to go. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For people who are new here, hi, my name is Louis. I'm the creator behind Whimsy. I create coloring books, but I don't particularly enjoy coloring them. And yes, I'm a self-proclaimed lazy artist. In this video, I'm going to share with you some more of my lazy coloring hacks. So if you're new to the world of coloring, you just want to start, or if you are a more experienced colorist, but you're just experiencing a coloring slump, some kind of like an art block, you don't feel the urge to color, this is the video for you. So I think nowadays people seem to overthink stuff when it comes to coloring, even though the purpose of coloring in the first place is actually to de-stress, to relax. They kind of forget about that. I think it's the social media effect. You know, when you're browsing, when you're doom scrolling, you're going to be exposed to all these coloring posts, you know, showcasing beautiful coloring results, complex tutorials and color theories and challenges and everything. So, you know, you're overloaded with all these different information within a short period of time. So now you feel the burden weighing on you before even deciding, you know, which page to color. So this video, I'm going to show you a very simple exercise to overcome this. By the end of this video, hopefully you will find again that passion to color, that urge to color, to relax and to de-stress, not to burden yourself by overthinking or planning ahead too much when it comes to coloring. So let's get to it. Okay, a little bit of disclaimer before we start. I'm not here to explain to you guys anything about color theory, about how to pick the best color palette, or how you can color the right way. I'm here merely to explain to you guys how to jump straight into coloring without the burden of overthinking. Okay, so let's get started. I need you now to pick 4 different colors, but there's a catch. Here's my tip. From those 4 colors, you really need to pay attention to their color tones. And by color tone, I mean it's the level of light and dark of a color. So from those 4 colors, you need to pick 1 very light color, the lightest one, another light color, slightly darker than the first one, 1 medium tone color, and the last one, another medium tone color, but make sure it's darker when compared to the rest of them. And also 1 white highlighter. It can be a white acrylic marker or the one that I'm using, a white jelly roll pen. And you're good to go. So let's get coloring. So this is my very first color that I picked, and this is supposed to be the lightest in terms of color tone. This is the second one. It's slightly darker in tone compared to the first one, but still I consider this a light color. Here's my third color, a medium tone color. And yeah, it's
a little bit darker than the other two. And here's my darkest one. It's still medium tone color, but darkest overall in terms of color tone. And last but not least, a white highlighter. In this case, I'm using Jelly Roll pen. And for this exercise, I'm going to pick a page from my latest coloring book that's just been published. And it's going to be this one right here. Should be fun. So, my very first tip when it comes to coloring with alcohol markers, I always start with the lightest one, with the lightest color. And this is because it's just the safest way. There's no way you would make any mistake, because if you do, you can just layer another color on top of it. I mean, you can even color the entire page with this color, and then you'll be practicing the color hack, one of the color hack that I told you about in the previous video about color cohesiveness. Okay, I'm on my second color here, and I've decided to color the main characters in the scene with this color. Notice that I color things pretty quickly and expressively. I don't really pay attention to, the way I color. For instance, I don't really care much about not making any streaks or how to do smooth blendings and all that, and focusing only on the elements or subjects on this page that I want to paint with this particular color. And by doing this, you will free yourself from the burden of overthinking. And that's huge, because I bet you, overthinking is the one single thing that will prevent you from enjoying coloring in the first place. Remember that pride and joyful feeling that you experienced the first time you finished a coloring page? That's exactly what we're trying to do here. That feeling of pride and joy usually diminished as soon as you start comparing yourself with others. Thanks to social medias these days, it's really easy to get overinformed, if that's a word. Overinformed about so many different things about coloring in such a short period of time. And you can't help yourself but starting to compare your coloring result to the others, or trying to follow a specific coloring tutorial just because it's trending nowadays. And before you know it, you'll be burdened by all these small things that's gonna build up in your mind, and you'll start overthinking even before you start coloring. And as a result, you no longer want to color, and you'll be in your coloring slump. Anyway, that's what we're trying to avoid here. So let's go back to this exercise. As you can see here, I start working with my third color, which is the medium tone one. And this is when you have to start thinking about accent. Accent is something that will make your page pop a little bit more. And in this case, it's using color. The third color, which has the medium tone, is perfect for this, just because it's visually stronger than the first two lighter colors, and still not too bold or too dark when compared to the last color that it could become too visually overwhelming. So yeah, in this particular case, I've decided to accentuate the color of the sky. I want this to be a little bit dramatic. Again, there's no right or wrong. And I mean, if you decide to color the cloud as the accent, for instance, it's totally fine. Of course, the overall vibe won't feel the same, but still, it's gonna be equally dramatic. Okay, now before we continue on, I want to share you the actual secret, the key, the secret sauce for nailing this exercise and seeing consistently awesome results. Drum roll, please. And it's a simple color coverage ratio. Here's how it works. You need to make sure that the first two colors that you use, which are the lightest colors, cover up to 60% of the entire design or the page that you're trying to color. And then about 30% coverage for the medium tone color, which is also the accent color that you use. And then the remaining 10% is reserved for the darkest color, which I'm currently using right now to color the log. I will also be using this same color to add a little bit of shading here and there, just to add more depth and dimension to the design. So remember, 60, 30, and 10. 60% of coverage for the lightest colors, 30% for the medium tone color, and 10% for the darkest one. By following this formula, you will end up with good coloring results almost all the time. This darkest tone color is the color that you want to use if you want to add more shadings or shadows to add to the design, so it will have more depth or dimension. And remember the rules from before. Don't overdo it with this one because you only get up to 10% of coverage for the entire page. Once I'm done with the darkest color, I go for round 2. I go back from the beginning and apply another layer of color one more time and try to focus a little bit more on the coverage ratio. And this is why I color the hanging clouds with a mix of the lighter colors. And there we go. From this point on, it's only a matter of adding more details as much as you want, as long as you remember the color coverage ratio, and you should be good. Note that I was trying my best to do a little bit of blending here, but failed. For the life of me, I just cannot blend when it comes to using alcohol markers, so I just end up doing a little bit more shading because it always works. In here, I just go back and forth using the medium tone and the darker tone colors just to add more shadings and a little bit more details on the characters so it will pop more. And once I'm done with the 4 colors, it's time to start working with the highlights, which is my favorite part. As I have mentioned before, you can also use other highlighter, for instance, white acrylic marker, or I mean, you can even use other color than white, but I think white works well, specifically for this exercise, just because white is actually quite a strong color. And since we've been working with only limited colors up until now, white can be a very good addition as the fifth color because it adds quite a visual impact. And do keep in mind, since the white highlighter, this color is not considered in the color coverage ratio that I mentioned before, so make sure to use it sparingly. Like in this case, I'm using the white highlighter mainly to add a little bit of glow effects on lantern, the characters, as well as creating the starry night sky effect. And that's it for this exercise, guys. Quite a good result for a 4+1 coloring job, right? And remember, you can do this exercise with different colors, different color combination and everything. Just remember the secret sauce. Well, I hope you guys find this video useful, and if you do enjoy the video, please give me a like, share some comments, and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get notified every time I post a new video similar like this. Thank you so much for joining in, and I'll see you guys in the next video.